Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm your host, Todd. Across from me, I have Richard and Sean. Hello, boys.
Hey.
It's wonderful end of January.
It is the end of January. It's still cold outside, I think.
I'm hoping.
I haven't been out today. So we're at minute 83.
Yes. We're starting with the unnamed chimp at this point, gesturing towards Taylor. That's going to be with Taylor, Nova, and Zira's nephew hiding behind a wall. And as of minute 83, we've got our 2 living humans, 2 confirmed dead, a Shrewdness apes, and a gaggle of humanoids. Or humans, not humanoids.
So our new chimp doesn't have an official name at this point, right?
He does not have a name.
I have his name in the script. Do they actually ever name him in there?
No, he eventually,
I think they do.
in this minute, he says that he's Zira's nephew, but does not give a name.
Right.
I'm almost positive by the end of it, he names himself.
Okay.
By the end of the minute or the end of the
movie?
Oh, by the end of the movie, maybe, but not this.
Not by the end of the minute.
He's unnamed chimp boy.
Yeah.
He's unnamed chimp.
UCB, unnamed chimp boy.
So he takes up at the very start of the minute a pantomiming that I've been begging for Taylor to do, though, at the very first when he was sitting around just going,
we're doing in the visual medium podcast here, miming, pointing at our throat and stuff, but this chimp starts doing, making sure that you see what I'm going to do and stuff that Taylor could have been doing the entire time.
But he's basically while Julius walks away with the order and he's distracted, the young chimp is basically motioning for Taylor to grab Julius.
Yeah.
To basically get him, grab him, hold him.
Oh, that's true. I didn't get that that's what he was doing because I when he's doing it, I originally thought rattle the cage.
No, he was saying grab him. That's why the young chimp pushes Julius into the cage,
which is
into the wall of the prison cell,
so that Taylor could grab him. To which I want to know if Julius hadn't turned around to walk to read it, the message in the lit space now that we're finding out from the script, what was his plan? How was he going to get? Was he maybe just going to just shove him to begin with, no matter what? I mean, because
it would have been kind of funny at this point if while he's what I thought was rattling cages,
he just turns around.
Julius looks like and he goes, "Oops," and drops his hands or something. Because it's so obvious, and there's no moment when he's communicating to Taylor to say, "Okay, I'm going to push him. You grab him. I'll bonk him." He doesn't say that. He just starts.
What's fascinating though is that this young chimp, right?
Yeah.
Knows that Taylor is smart enough to understand exactly
what he wants him to do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we get the reveal in the minute who he is, but So he makes the motion for him to grab him. He, as Julius is looking at the order, Julius says, "This order is no good. It must be countersigned by Dr. Zaius." Poor Julius. He's just so.
Hey, he sticks to the rules.
He's so
But
slow.
Zaius definitely has his paws in everything. I mean, it has to be countersigned by him.
Right. Yeah.
Everything that goes through that bitch.
And now Julius finally gets a taste of his own medicine. The beater has become the BT.
Are chimps as strong as gorillas?
They have the strength of 10 apes.
Well, I mean,
and this is a little chimp too. He's teeny dude.
He went low.
Not low enough.
He went low, pushed him.
And Taylor went high.
Taylor went high. Yeah.
You were going to say something, and then I'll.
But we've got like a weird combination of strength versus not strength in all these apes. When they want them to be strong, they are strong. When they're not, Taylor can get around from them and steal paper from them. I don't know.
So when you say he went low on him, and I've established before that I'm pretty much the only sports fan out of the group of guys here. Having played football for about 3 years before everybody else dwarfed me, the one thing I learned is if you were going to tackle low your shoulder and take him in, instead, unnamed chimp boy grabs Julius, this big gorilla, by the shoulders and pushes him back. Right. And all I could think was, could somebody not teach him to tackle? Lower your shoulder and draw him into it. Instead, he does nothing. The moment works. We get that, again, he's wanting to break them out, but it just feels so odd.
Yeah.
They probably don't have football because it's footist.
They
it might be called something else.
Okay, whatever Paul Ball. Once again, that sounds like the slurred speech we had earlier. Paul Ball.
Mordor.
God bless you.
So he pushes him. Taylor grabs him, and then Lucius shouts, unnamed Chimp Boy.
Unnamed Chimp Boy.
Unnamed Chimp Boy shouts, "Hit him!" Whack on the head.
I know.
Poor Julius is unconscious.
Well, and then so when Taylor gets the thing to whack Julius on the head, it has such a
Boom.
cartoon. He takes it.
Boom.
It isn't just a pow. It's almost like a big boom.
Look at me hit.
Yes.
Well, there was they even put like this sad piece of rope in between Julius's mouth
Oh yeah.
to like, I guess keep him quiet.
The gag that
odd.
only works on TV and movie where it
Right.
goes into your mouth but can never keep you from speaking. Actually,
Right.
We don't want to mess up the makeup. They've all like, this is real simple. We just kind of replace it right there. It'll
So
be
we get a
fine.
wonderful Goldsmith moment too, though, with the score right before the hit. There's a xylophone run where it's just mallets down the and then bonk right on his head. So I love that. But shout out to the makeup people because they took the kind of time with the gorilla guy.
with his hands.
Oh my God, his hands were completely black and they
Yeah.
looked very gorilla-esque. I was like, oh, that looked awesome.
At first, I thought they were gloves, and then you could see that it's actually paint on
Right.
his hands.
They did. Where I've criticized before that the fingernails were all glossy and whatnot, his
painted
looked
nails,
fantastic. That was a great
Well,
job.
that may be because they knew they were doing something kind of close on all
True.
that and didn't know what the director wanted to shoot.
But did I miss something?
How do you mean?
In that Taylor all of a sudden has what initially looked like a leather strap to strap the guards, Julius's arms up there, but it really, in the wide shots, looks like the most conveniently long piece of straw. Where does that come from? Is that just something he pulled from the bottom of his cage and straw happens to suddenly be strong enough to hold an ape to
You're
a
gonna need
cage?
to go back and look at that moment. I don't actually
I
remember that.
I don't know where
remember
that
that either.
strap comes from. I look at it in the reverse shots where I'm looking through and what I'm talking about with the hands that look great, it looks a little leatherish. And I thought, I went back and looked and I didn't see that the unnamed Chimp Boy picks up
anything
a
that-
leather strap with it and hands
besides
it to him.
the
Right.
mallet that he's hitting him with.
So
not sure.
I'm kind of curious what that is.
Well, Richard's taking a look to see while we're talking about
Because
this.
God knows if it's straw, even I could break loose of that
Yeah.
if somebody did that to me. And an ape who's infinitely stronger than I am could
so at
think.
this
Maybe,
point,
I don't know, maybe straw is their weakness.
So at this point, the unnamed Chimp Boy, UCB, introduces himself as Zera's nephew.
Well, Taylor does ask, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And unnamed Chimp Boy goes, "So you can talk."
Which
He's like, "I'm surprised by this.
So
this
thi-
is fantastic."
so this
right?
again goes back into previous minute stuff. He's surprised that Taylor can talk, yet there's been an
can
audience
sing.
that he can sing, I can dance. There's been a whole audience that has seen Taylor talk. So maybe the fact that Taylor can speak has not gotten out into the actual public. A group knows it, and it would be similar to if you saw if Todd was somewhere and saw an animal that could speak and
A cow.
can speak, and then told me, and I was not there,
Right.
a cow can speak, I would say, all right, so what were you drinking again? And how many
And I
beers
think
is
that I thought when I saw that, I thought that's what it was.
And so he's here now going, all right, my aunt told me that you
Right.
can talk, whatever.
Right.
She's asked me to break you out. I support my aunt. I'm going to take him out. And all of a sudden, he does talk. It's like, oh, okay, you can talk.
And that's kind of what I thought it was, is that you can, a group of people can say, I saw this happened, until you experience it for yourself. You're kind of like, really?
When it's so
And
far out
you
of the know.
can talk.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and we assume that Zera's the one who told him to talk.
Yeah.
Right. She has this. So he says, "I'm Dr. Zera's nephew. The abduction was her idea. You're not really going to the zoo. That's just our cover story in case we're stopped." So we're now let in on the fact that
There's a
Taylor's
conspiracy
being
of some sort.
brought out and Zera
is
is
involved.
actually behind it. Zera's behind it.
What does the script say about my question about how they tied the gorilla? Does it mention anything about that?
Let's see. Taylor complies, bringing him down with the heel of his fist on the nape of the guard's neck. Julius collapses. The youngster immediately squats down, gags him, and begins to bind him hand and foot.
Just bind him.
Yeah. It doesn't say specifically.
Well, so
I'm just
in
trying to get
in
to
that
moment.
case, they were saying he's almost doing the forearm smash again instead of using the mallet that he was
The
doing.
moment they took that restrictive thing off his back was the moment they doomed the Planet of the Apes. So the big thing here that happens next, and I struggled when to bring this in from production notes, but we begin that unnamed Chimp Boy, or how do we, if we want to call him Zera's nephew, whatever we want to call him.
He's Zera's nephew.
Zera's nephew.
yeah.
Okay, we know at this point he's Zera's nephew. Zera's nephew gets him out, says, "Come on." Taylor says, "Not without her," or something to that
I
extent.
want her.
He says, "Come on, get me out of here." And Zera's nephew says, "We've got to move fast." And Taylor says, "She comes along too."
So,
But no, in the actual movie, he goes, I want her.
okay,
Well, no,
Oh, is that later?
He says she comes along too.
And
Zero's nephew says Zero doesn't want your female. Taylor says, I want her.
Yeah, the way he did that.
Okay, so that's where I bring in the production notes.
Mm-hmm.
Nova's pregnant.
Really?
What?
In the original script, she was to be pregnant.
Holy cow.
Dang.
And
that changes everything.
They cut it out because they feared at the end of the film, they kind of knew where this was going.
Obviously know where it ends, yeah.
And, and looking at this, there's a lot of discussion on who developed the idea of the famous iconic last shot, whether it was Serling. There were also production drawings around the same time, and so a lot of people think the production drawings influenced him, but other people think his conversations influenced production drawings. Whatever those were, what they feared was introducing this idea of a child and not resolving it.
And just abandoning it at the end.
Would alienate people, and they'd be like, but what happened to the child? You just left a child alone in this foreign world. So they decided to cut it. So that makes me think when he so desperately says she has to go, if that's not a remnant from the early days when because they wrote versions of the script with her pregnant.
Because one of my notes was Nova seemingly looked pretty confident that Taylor was going to take her for not being able to speak or talk or understand language. She seemed like, I'm going with you, right? And that's when he's like, I want her. Yeah, what was her motivation for thinking that Taylor, from not being able to talk to him, why is she thinking Taylor's going to take him? Take her, and if she's pregnant, that makes sense.
It does, and it really feels, because whenever I watched it, I thought, okay, I thought of hanging on to that fact until the end and giving it to you guys then, but this was like, that makes total sense at this point.
That kind of changes the scene a little
How
bit.
do you, if you're a mute, and your man is Mr. Talker Dude, how do you convey to him you're pregnant? Is it simply put a hand on her tummy? Does he go, no, you just got gas?
Well, we're saying they're mute. We also don't know their intelligence level. Well, but the thing is, again, she was wiping out his writing, so she has some sort of intelligence that she knows she's protecting him there. But
they respond to sugar cubes.
Yeah,
circuses.
They do love their sugar cubes.
How does my dog tell me that they're pregnant? How does my cat tell me that they're pregnant? How does somebody who's not communicative and may not know that they're pregnant tell you that they're pregnant?
Okay,
I don't know.
But at the same time, there has to be a way. And I'm just curious.
And how does she know she's pregnant?
Morning sickness.
But that just could be crappy food. I mean,
true.
I don't know how she would know she was pregnant unless there were actual signs, and that would be 5 months into her.
Yeah,
or something like
you'd
that.
definitely be months down the line. Yeah. But it's just interesting that they had thought they were building that in,
and it makes sense why the two characters, both Nova and Taylor, are continually looking
together
longingly.
Yeah.
In this scene, she doesn't know he's about to get killed.
Castrated.
Mm-hmm. So why would she? That makes the moments where they're just kind of staring at each other in this particular quiet moment make more sense.
It does. We talked before about did they know where they were going with the sequel? There was something in one of those books that mentioned something along the lines, not so much of that's a sequel idea, but at least it was an open-ended, something to explore. Because I don't know that they didn't think that they couldn't do something with it.
It's your Vader spinning off in a TIE fighter.
It is. You essentially at least leave an unanswered question that can be explored. Even in it's one of the things Star Wars did brilliantly. Because as kids, I remember thinking, "Where'd Vader go?"
Yeah.
At least if you expose that question to an audience and they say, "But what about the child?" They're still thinking about it after they leave.
Yeah.
So back to your question about the straw. Yes, but it is not just Taylor that uses straw. It is also Zero's nephew. He did not come with any rope at all. They basically pull straw from the floor, from the cell, and use it to bind Julius with.
That's some strong straw.
Maybe
it's very unusual. I mean, you look at it when you look at it in the photo, you can kind of see that it's very, very thin anyway.
Right. Maybe Julius is
actually not a rope. It's just thin. I mean, it's more than straw, but not really.
Maybe Julius is a descendant of Wonder Woman, and anytime he gets tied up, he loses all his strength. Going back to William Morrison. Do you not know Wonder Woman's origin?
Wonder Woman lost her strength when she got tied up?
So in the comic books originally, anytime she got tied up, she would lose her strength and stuff. That was her weakness.
Is that an acknowledgement back to the creation of Wonder Woman, which I've heard all those stories about the bondage aspects of it?
Well, it was also about the chains were supposed to represent man's
domination of
women.
That's interesting.
So yes, you could say it was related to the teasing of bondage,
A little bit.
but it was really meant to be kind of the emancipation for men
Okay.
by shaking off.